Hey guys, welcome to another webinar by Kazob. In this webinar, we are going to be interviewing Anandini Fernandez, who is a criminal lawyer. Um, so I'd just like to say at the outset that you can ask questions whenever you want. Don't wait for the end of the webinar. Okay, and yeah, so let's go. So, Anandini, can you talk about uh, what you do?
Okay, so I'm a criminal lawyer,
Okay.
but what I studied was I did a 5-year law course at Government Law College, at which time I
Okay.
didn't have to specify which kind of law I wanted to practice. But because
Hmm.
even before I went to law school, I was very sure that I wanted to do criminal law. Now the cases I handle are predominantly criminal in nature, and I work with a senior lawyer called Satish Mani Shinde. So I work in a chamber practice.
Oh, that's great. I know Satish Manishan is one of the leading lawyers in the country, right?
Yeah, he is. He's really good.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, a lot of students ask me, is the life of a lawyer really like what they show on Suits and Boston Legal and stuff like that? So, do you have anything to say about that?
Okay, it's a little hard to answer that question because when I first went to courts, like in my early years of interning, I was really disillusioned because even I liked the practice and Suits and Boston Legal, and it wasn't like that at all. The lawyers weren't as good looking, things didn't magically happen. But the good
Okay.
news is that there are days in which it can be exactly like that. And those are the
Mhm.
days you hope for and you work towards. On the days that you're prepared, the judge is listening to you, you have a good case on merits, and you come away with a good order. So there are definitely
Okay.
days that can be like that, but it won't be every day, and that's okay.
Okay. Okay. So, what made you opt for law?
So I had a notion that I wanted to be a criminal lawyer when I was really young, and I
Okay.
wasn't really sure what inspired me. But as I was growing up, there were traits that I had or things that I liked that made me think that maybe law could be for me. First,
Okay.
I
Like what?
loved, yeah, so I loved arguing. I was
Okay.
very excited when I found out that they pay people to argue.
Okay.
I'm a very energetic person. I get very bored if I have to sit at a desk for being a litigation lawyer. I spend barely 3 or 4 hours a day at a desk and most of my time roaming around courts. So it was great to have like a non-desk, non-corporate type of job. And
Okay.
also I wanted the feeling that I could do something, make a change, impact people's lives, which as a litigation lawyer and especially in criminal law, I'm able to do. So all of these
Okay.
things kind of gave me an inclination that law was probably good for me.
Okay. Great. So, so can you talk about what you do on a day-to-day basis, and what are the key activities that you engage in, say during the week, or the key activities that are associated uh, i- in arguing a case?
Yeah, sure. So just like to point out that what I'm about to tell you is very specific to a criminal lawyer. It'll be different for a non-litigation lawyer. It'll be much more different for a corporate lawyer. But me personally, all day I'm in courts. Court working hours are from 11 to 2, and then they have a lunch break till about 2:45, and then they resume from 2:45 to 5. So my day begins with me going to court. If I have to read up for a matter in the morning, or if a client wants to meet me before their matter on a particular day, then I have to go start my day a little earlier. Once court is done, that's when I go back to my office, and that's when I do all my client meetings, all my drafting work, my research work. So my typical day starts at around 9:30, 10, and I'm
Mhm.
home around the same time.
Okay.
It seems like a very long day, but the hours that you spend in court go by really quickly. So it's not
Right.
very taxing at all.
Okay. Okay. So there must be quite a bit of traveling involved, right? Because you're traveling from one court to the other, traveling from, yeah. So is there a lot of travel involved in your work?
Yeah, there is. See, there are certain lawyers, especially the more senior lawyers, who restrict their practice only to the High Court, in which case they don't have to go. travel very much because they're in the same building, all the different courts. There are some lawyers who limit their practice to, say, a sessions court. So those kind of lawyers don't really have a lot of travel, but someone junior like me who's interested in doing a lot of trials and practicing in magistrate courts, then those courts are spread all over the city. So there's a lot of intercity travel. Like every day you have to
Okay.
go between 3 or 4 courts. So which
Right.
can range from like Andheri to Kala Ghoda to even Belapur if you're unlucky.
Okay, okay. So another factor that makes a career is, so like one factor is the work that you do. Another factor is the kind of people that you have to interact with. Do you work in a team? Do you spend a lot of time with your clients? Who all do you interact with at your work?
Okay, so yeah, there's definitely a lot of teamwork, especially in my chamber because we have my boss and we're 6 juniors, and because we're all working in the same chamber, we kind of tend to work on every matter together. Like if I'm
Okay.
drafting something, a colleague of mine will check the draft for me and vice versa. So we try and make
Um,
it as team.
when you say draft something, what do you mean?
Okay, so drafting something is tomorrow if you were to slap me, I can't directly go to a judge and be like, Advait slapped me, please put him in jail.
Okay.
I have to make a petition stating that, on so and so date and so time, so and so person slapped me, that, so and so were the witnesses to that crime, and I want him to be punished. And then I have to go and
Right.
file that document in court, and I'll
Okay.
be given a date on which my matter will come up before the judge. So
Okay.
everything is set into motion by a written draft. So
Okay.
coming up with that draft and deciding what to use, what to put in it, what language to use, all that comes under the scope of drafting.
Okay. Okay. Thanks a lot for that. So you were talking
Yeah.
about the people you interact with.
Right. So I definitely interact with my boss and my colleagues because I'm a litigation lawyer. I'm before a judge every day, whether it's to argue a matter or to take a date or to keep back a matter for my boss. So you interact with judges. Also, since I'm a criminal lawyer, the criminal law is mostly set into motion in police stations. So you have to interact with a lot of policemen. In terms of your client, yeah, you definitely interact with a lot with your client, and I think this is true of any law that you practice because whether it's civil, corporate, criminal, no one knows the case better than the client themselves. So you definitely interact a lot with your clients as well.
Okay. So that brings me to another important question that people have about criminal law. Since you're dealing with criminal law and since you have to deal with your clients a lot, do you ever feel unsafe in the profession that you are in?
Okay, again, I can only answer this based on my personal experiences, and
Right.
I'm sure that other people have had different experiences. But for me personally, whether it's because of the chamber I work with or the kind of clientele I've been lucky to have, I personally never felt unsafe. We
Okay.
have sometimes had interns come and work with us who find it very daunting because in court there's no real segregation between people who are accused of crimes who are out on bail and the lawyers and the policemen. So some interns have found it daunting, but personally I never have. Nothing unsafe or dangerous has ever happened while I've been around. So no, I
Okay.
personally never felt unsafe in my job.
Okay. So I'm sure you are obviously a really strong person, but what other skills are required to do your job well?
Okay, so you definitely need to have good public speaking skills. You can't be
Okay.
someone who's shy to speak in front of people and to get your point across. Because as a litigation lawyer, like I said, whether it's to keep back a matter, that still requires you to get up in front of a judge, sometimes in front of a full courtroom, and say, "Look, my senior's on his way. Can you keep back the matter?" So you need to have the confidence to do that. If you can't do
Okay.
that, it's going to be very hard to properly argue matters. So public speaking. Then, like
Okay.
we discussed earlier, drafting, which requires really good language skills. Also, an ability to read would really help because to make your case strong, you have to read and research a lot of previous case laws, what judges have held in cases similar to yours, which could go in your favor. You also have
Okay.
to read all the documents your client might give you which support your case. So yeah, you need to be able to read. And not just read and research. You need to have good like common sense actually to take what you're reading and researching and apply it to your advantage.
Okay. Okay, great. So actually, we have our first question. This
Okay.
question is from Kiran, and she's
Okay.
asking, what is the difference between an advocate, a litigation lawyer, and a solicitor?
Okay, so a solicitor and a litigation lawyer is an advocate. Basically, an advocate is just another word for lawyer. So anyone who has a law degree is an advocate. Uh, the thing that differentiates a solicitor is there's a separate exam known as the solicitor's exam, which is really tough, and it pertains mainly to civil subjects like insolvency, real estate. There's no solicitors for criminal law, for example. And once you
Okay.
pass that exam, which is a set of 7 different papers, you receive your
Mhm.
solicitorship. So it's basically a grade above an advocate, but it's limited to certain specialities. As a criminal lawyer, I would never have to give my solicitor's exam.
Okay, great. Um, so, what is the career progression like? Can you talk a little bit about how many years you've been a criminal lawyer and how your career has progressed so far? And then in the next 5 to 10 years, where will your career be?
Yeah, sure. So I started interning in my current chamber in my 3rd year of law school. So I would intern throughout the year and I would just take a month off for my exams. And then after I graduated, I immediately started as a junior advocate in the same chamber. And I'm just completing about 3.5 years as a junior advocate. It actually depends entirely upon me whether I want to remain in the chamber for the next 5 to 10 years or I want to start my own practice. Right
Right.
now, I see myself staying in the chamber for at least the next 5 years because I think I have a lot to learn.
Okay.
So that's what I feel personally. But I know a lot of people who are younger than me or just about my age who have already started their independent practice and are doing really well. So I think everyone kind of has their own journey which you figure along the way.
Okay. Okay. Great. So, can you talk about your most memorable moment professionally so far?
Yeah, sure. So when I was on Kazob earlier, I had a different moment, but since then I've had a better one. So
Okay. Great.
yeah, so I know that everyone thinks lawyers are frightfully expensive, and often they are. So I always thought it would be awesome to get my law degree because I'd be able to help my family and my friends for free. So recently, really close friends of mine's parents had litigation started against them, where they were entirely blameless, and I decided to take up their matter, and of course I did it for free. What I didn't count on is how nervous I would be when it was someone that I was close to. But I
Okay.
managed to win for them, and that was a really great feeling because for a really long time, I wanted to be able to do this to help people, whether it was people I knew or whether it's people who can't afford a lawyer. So the ability to do that now is really great, and I hope to have many such moments.
Okay, great. So the people who joined late, let me just remind you that you can ask questions at any point of the webinar. If you just scroll down on your window, you'll be able to see a questions tab in which you can just type in your question. Okay. Okay. So my next question is, what do you like and what do you dislike about your job?
Okay, so what I like about my job are actually some of the reasons why I joined the legal profession. One is every day is different for me. Like someday I'll get a client who's come and who's accused of murder. Someday it might be rape. Someday it might be some type of white collar crime. So every day is really different, which I enjoy. The other thing I like about my job is I get to see the impact of what I'm doing. For example, if my client is in jail for a certain crime and I'm arguing his bail application and I'm successful, the next day he's out of jail, which is a really satisfying feeling. Um, Thirdly, it allows me to do good, like I touched upon earlier, for those who can't afford a lawyer and who are in jail and entitled to bail, but the only thing preventing them is that they don't have someone to represent them. I can represent people like that. So, yeah, I think those are the things that I like most about my job. And
Okay.
what I don't like about my job, there are very few things that I don't like. And my answer is kind of what everyone complains about is that the judicial process is very slow and tedious in India. Um, Things take months, trials take years. So when you want things to speed along, you don't really have any control over that. So that's a really helpless feeling. But having said that, I do feel that in the last couple of years, things are changing. Whether it's litigants, whether it's lawyers, and whether it's judges, everyone's realizing that the judicial process has to quicken, and hopefully we're moving in that direction.
Okay, okay, great. So we have another question. This question is from Tripti, and she's saying that she's in law school right now. Is there anything that she can do as a law student to increase her employability?
To increase her employability. So, see, one thing that happens very often, whatever law you're practicing, is if you think that when you graduate you want to work at a certain place, I would always recommend that in your final year of law school, try to get an internship at that place and work
Okay.
really hard and make an impression, because law firms, chambers, they're always looking for nice, bright, young, hardworking juniors,
Mhm.
and as an intern they don't really have to pay you and they're happy to take you. So if you can get your entry through an internship and then really make an impact, the
Mhm.
likelihood of them asking you upon graduation to join them as a junior advocate or as a young associate or an article clerk, it increases your chances. So that's one way that you could go about it.
Okay, okay, okay. That's some good advice. Thanks. Um, Next question from me is, can you make a social impact through your work?
Yeah, you definitely could. As I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of people in our country who can't afford a good lawyer or even any lawyer for that matter. There is a dearth of public pleaders who can represent such people.
Okay.
If you've read in the newspapers, there's a lot of discussion about how a lot of people are in jail, under trials especially, who have been in jail for longer than the maximum term of what they're being accused of, which
Wow.
is very unfair and unjust. So, as a
Right.
lawyer, I can reach out to those people, represent them, get them out on bail, get their cases thrown out. So, there's tremendous scope to do good. You have to be willing to put in the hours, and of course, you have to not focus on the monetary aspects of it. But yeah, you
Right.
can really make an impact if that's what you want to do with your life.
Okay, great. Okay. So, I think hopefully the viewers have got a good understanding of your work life.
Right.
And if anyone wants to ask a question about her work life, you can still ask. But now let's move on to what you have studied. Where have you studied?
Right. So I did my 11th and 12th in science. Though I would recommend if you want to do law, it helps a lot to do arts in your 11th and 12th, because a lot of the subjects, at least in the 5 year law course, are repeated for the first 2 years. But I loved science and that's what I did. Then I did my 5 year law course at Government Law College in Mumbai. I
Okay.
interned pretty much from my first year onwards. Like whenever I got the chance, I was interning, and I participated a lot in the extracurricular activities of the college. And since graduation, I've been working in the chambers of Satish Mane Shinde. So that's pretty much my career and education graft.
Okay. Okay. So can you talk about how did you go about? So I know internships play a major role while you're in law school. So can you talk
Right.
about the application process, and based on what did you select where you wanted to intern?
Right. So the way to get an internship, basically there are multiple ways. One is, of course, most law colleges have a placement committee and a placement week where different law firms, private lawyers, or criminal lawyers like chamber practices, they advertise for spots, whether as interns or whether upon graduation. So you basically give your CV to your placement committee and they set up interviews for you. So that's the easiest way to get an internship. Another way
Okay.
is every corporate law firm or even a chamber practice, they have an email address and they have secretaries that you can correspond with and interact with directly to approach them. Because placement
Okay.
weeks are normally once in a semester or once in a year. But if you want to intern more than that, you can always approach the law firms directly.
Okay.
If you want to if you want a judicial internship, which is you want to work with a judge of the High Court or a judge of the Supreme Court, then they have a separate process. You have to send in your covering letter and your CV directly to their clerks, and then they get back to you about their availability. So these are the various ways in which you can get an internship.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thanks a lot. So we have another question. This is from Damond, and he's asking, supposing I study law and I decide I do not want to become a lawyer at the end of it. What is the scope for me to change my career? Maybe for this question, Anand, you could talk a little bit about, say, like if any of your friends from law school, if they're doing something different now,
Right.
or anything like that.
Right. So, in fact, at our orientation, they asked us how many people did law because they didn't know what else to do. And I think more than half of the class put their hands up. The thing is, a law degree is a very general degree and it's a very useful degree. I mean, in fact, it's written in our law that every person of the nation is expected to know what the laws are. So whether ultimately you go on to do business or art or anything like that, you'll always be your business or whatever it is you're doing will always be impacted by some law or the other. So having a law degree doesn't hurt you in any way. I personally have lots of friends who've got their law degrees and done things totally unrelated. I have friends who are now working in sports organizations or in the music and art industry. So a law degree is a good degree to have and it doesn't restrict you in any way.
Right. Okay. Okay. Great. So, can you talk about the application process to government law college?
Okay, so government law college is a fairly simple application process because your admission depends on your 12th standard marks. So you basically just have to fill in their form and hope that your name comes on the admission list. You also have national law schools in the country which
Okay.
have their own private admission process where you have to give an exam. And now recently they've introduced the CLAT, which is the Common Law Admissions Test, which is how which you have to study for, and depending on your results, that's how you get into the national law schools. But for government law schools, it's primarily your 12th standard results, so the admission process is fairly simple.
Okay. Okay. Um, so actually, that brings me to the end of all of my questions. So I just want to thank you, Anandini, for coming and speaking with us again. I think this is the third time. So thanks a lot. And to the viewers, thanks a lot for coming. I hope this webinar is useful to you all. And if you think it's useful, please go and post something about us on your Facebook wall, or go and like our page, which is called Kazob Career Solutions. So we can continue doing this, with your encouragement. So yeah, so I'll be signing out now. Thanks a lot, Anandini, again, and bye.
Bye, thanks.
See you.